Multiple GOP-led states see Texas abortions law as a model. The White House and congressional Democrats now are also promising to go around the Supreme Court, which refused to weigh in on that law. They want to make abortion legal everywhere in the United States, basically at any time. Nancy Pelosi promising that the House will call a vote on this measure. Here she is.
Many of the women who will be disadvantaged in this are women of color and poorer women, and the rest is an injustice. Not a disrespect of all women, but an injustice. Some of the women everywhere in Texas and everywhere to have the respect they deserve for their decisions about their own reproductive health.
All right, we're also here in the Senate is going to call a vote on this as well, but let's welcome in Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton to talk more about the situation in Texas. General, great to see you.
Hey, good seeing you too, John.
All right, I want to focus on the Wall Street Journal. The editorial page calls this Texas's abortion law blunder. They write, for starters, the Texas state statute clearly violates the court's Roe v. Wade 1973 case, and also Casey, Planned Parenthood versus Casey from 1992. They say it violates those precedents, making abortion illegal during the first trimester without exceptions for rape or incest. The Journal and other legal scholars say that the Supreme Court made the right call here, not jumping in, but the law won't actually stand up when there's a specific challenge. What do you say to that?
Look, we've got a pretty broad coalition of states with the Mississippi law already going to the U.S. Supreme Court. We are directly challenging Roe v. Wade, saying that the court in 1972 made this up. There was no precedent. There was no constitutional right. Send it back to the states, because the Supreme Court's been trying to manage this for the last 40 or 50 years. And frankly, it's been challenging, because every time they get a new justice, there seems to be a new standard to determine when you can have an abortion and what regulations you can have. And so the states have been in a really difficult situation trying to figure out what is the law, because it's not written down. It keeps changing. They need to just send it back to the states. And we have a 25-state coalition with Mississippi leading the charge, and my state filing an amicus brief with 24 other states saying, hey, Supreme Court, you need to go back and relook at this, because this is not good precedent.
I mean, obviously the motivation here is protecting the life of the unborn, but the federalism aspect is another huge part of this here. One thing you don't hear from Democrats is, abortion still is unchanged in a lot of other states around this country. But do you really see that as the future here, that could be, this law will hold up eventually in Texas and other states as well? They'll be, written in a way that they will?
It certainly should. It should be that each state can determine through their own elected representatives how they want to handle this issue, how they want to regulate the issue, just like we do thousands of other issues. The federal government doesn't have any real right in the Constitution to regulate abortion. I never saw anything in the Constitution that says we delegated that power to them when we founded this country. This is a state issue, and I don't think there's really any question that the Constitution doesn't give this authority to the federal government to start regulating abortion nationwide.
All right, let's move on and talk about the Texas Senate recently approving $1.8 billion for new border security spending. This after we've seen surging human and drug trafficking there. And what we've seen consistently is Texas legislators stepping in and saying, look, we're going to do what the federal government doesn't seem to be willing to do. This is specifically the federal government's responsibility. And of course, Texas taxpayers have to fill the void.
Well, it's very frustrating to us, because not only is it their responsibility, but they're actually inviting the problem in. They're asking illegals to come here, and it's working. I mean, the numbers are as high as they've ever been, over 200,000 now a month, coming in with different crimes that we're having to deal with. Border property crime. We've got the importation of fentanyl through the Chinese and the cartels. Cartels are also, basically human trafficking, because they're charging all of these people to come in, and so it's really insane that the federal government is not just not doing their job. They're looking at the federal law and they're saying, look, we're supposed to do this. We're not only not doing it, but we're going to do the opposite. We're going to invite these people in, and then we're going to send them all over the country with their potential criminal activity, and potentially a lot of them have COVID.
Yeah, that, obviously is a huge part of this. There's obviously the concern too now about the, terror level in this country as well. Is some of that money directed towards that? Is that part of this?
Yeah, there's no doubt. And $1.8 billion, it seems like a lot of money, and it's money that we shouldn't have to spend, but we have to spend it to protect ourselves from not only the cartels and what they're doing and the kind of people they're sending in, but now we've got all these refugees from Afghanistan. So we're going to be dealing with potential terror threats. And we also have people coming across the border from, I think they said 150 different countries. We don't know who they are. They're not being vetted. They're just being moved around our state, moved around our country as if we knew who they were. We don't.
No, you can't know when nobody's really been vetted, or a lot of folks haven't been vetted, as we've heard from several reports. Attorney General Ken Paxton, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Yeah, have a great day. Thank you.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.